Greetings, my Israel brothers and sisters, joint heirs, adopted, grafted, natural, spiritual. I hope that this video finds you all well and blessed. Let me just say this. I'm trying to get some of this stuff out of the way. There we go. We had a good service today, a good Sabbath. Just singing the lesson from this morning, just the group prayer, everything. It was just a wonderful Sabbath. I titled this, I want you to look at how I titled this. Why the feast day confusion? Why so many different dates? Feast day dates, why the confusion? I want to deal with that. Let me tell you what I'm talking about in particular. Some people are going to be keeping the Feast of Trumpets starting tomorrow, I understand. Some of us are going to be, you notice I said some of us are going to be keeping it on September the 30th. So the question is, why are people keeping it starting tomorrow? I guess tonight, tomorrow, or tomorrow night for Monday. Why? Why is there almost 2 weeks off? So I want to address that. I want to deal with that right now. Why so many different days? Why the confusion? And it's simply this. Let me tell you what the confusion comes in at. We go by the moon. The moon is what determines when a month changes from one month to a next. It's the sun that determines it ends a day, but it also starts a day. Okay, that's how the sun works. It distinguishes one day from the next. It's the moon that determines one month to the next, when a month is over and when a month begins. You go by the moon, okay? Some people try to put them both together. That's a whole different confusion situation. I won't get into that. But let me tell you why the confusion on the feast day dates. And that is because tomorrow, or right now, people think that the full moon is the first day of the month. That's what they say. The full moon is the beginning of the month. I beg to differ with that. It's the crescent. It's the slither. That's when a new moon comes around. 15 days later, you have a full moon. When the moon starts to work the opposite direction in which it started, you go from a full moon to a quarter of a moon to another crescent on the other side, and then it goes to a full black moon. Once that crescent switches back to the other side 30 days later from when the crescent came, the month is over, and when you see the crescent start back over, it's a new month. That's what I teach, that's how I teach it, and that's how we know that when one month is coming into the next. Why people do the full moon, I have no idea, but that's where the confusion comes in. So everybody is looking at the 7th month. We all know that the first day of the 7th month is the Feast of Trumpets. The issue is that some people think that the first day of the 7th month is tomorrow, or whenever they start it, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. It's coming up. Because the moon has been full, and some of those groups within each other who use that methodology, they're off with each other about, some do it a day before, some do it within a 3-day period. Like some may start today or tonight, some are going to start on Monday, and some are going to start on Tuesday. Why do they do that? Because when the moon is full, it stays full for about 3 days. And what a person picks as the first day, if they use that methodology, they're going to be off. And this is why you have so many people who do go by the new moon as the first day of the month. This is why they all got different dates. One was started one day, one started a day later. Some people started 2 days later, or in some cases earlier than somebody else, because they go by the full moon, and the full moon is full for 3 days or so. But when you go by the crescent, which you can only see at sunset, and the reason why you can only see the crescent at sunset, because that's how the Almighty, through His creation, has it set up. So you can only see it when the sun is setting, to let you know, now this is the first day of the month at the going down of the sun. And that's why it all makes sense to go by the crescent. And that's why you won't be thrown off. If you go by the new moon, the full moon philosophy, that's why a lot of people, they will be celebrating the Feast of Trumpets within 3 days of each other, because it's not being done accordingly. It should be done according to the crescent. Now, on the 29th of September, to going down to the sun, you will see the crescent in the sky. And you won't see it the day before, but you will see it that day. And that is the first day of the 7th month. And that means the 30th, because the sun is going down, because you can only see the crescent at the going down of the sun. That's the way astrology is, the way it's all set up. It's set that up that way in a perfect system. So therefore, you know that that night, when the sun goes down, it starts the first day, a whole new day. And this is why on the 29th, when the sun is going down on Sunday, you will be able to see the crescent. The sun is going down, which starts a new day, which means the first day of the 7th month is on September the 30th. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not Tuesday. And that's why within themselves that do that system, they are confused, because they don't know, what is this, the full moon, or is that the full moon? You know, yesterday looked like the full moon. No, today's the full moon. No, this day was the full moon. So they don't know, because the full moon is full for 3 days. So if you say that the first day of the month is the full moon, and you're trying to keep the Feast of Trumpets, that's where people are going to get all mixed up. And that's why a lot of those groups get confused on Passover as well. Some keep the 14th within 3 days. They all are off. Even if you go with the full moon as your methodology of determining that that's the beginning of the month, so many groups within that system do not keep the 14th day at the same time. They don't keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread at the same time. One is keeping it on a Monday. The other one said, no, it's going to be on Tuesday. The other one said, no, it's Wednesday, because that's the 15th of the month. Because they're all looking for when the full moon is. And you can't do it that way. Sorry. Okay? Well, not Passover. I gave that a back example, because that's when they count the first day. So when they count 14 days later, that's why they're off, because their counting does not start on the same time, because they see the full moon differently. The crescent system, you can't go wrong. And that's the way the Almighty has it set up in a perfect astrological system. So I just want to share that with you, because people ask, why is there so much confusion? How come some people keep the Feast of Trumpets, some gonna keep it on Monday, some gonna keep it on Tuesday, some gonna keep it on Wednesday of this coming week? Well, I mean, who's got the right date? And then you're gonna have those of us that I feel that understand how it's supposed to go. And I'm not condemning them. I'm just saying that that's why they do what they do. But I think that when you go, those of us that go by the crescent, we all keep it the same day. The first day of the 7th month is on September the 30th. All of us that goes by that system, it's impossible for us to keep it one day, somebody else the day before, to somebody else the day after, because there's only one crescent that you're going to see at the going down of the sun. So therefore, the first day of the Feast of Trumpets, we all that do that system keep it the same day. There's no confusion among us that do it that way. So I just wanted to share that with you. So you have confusion within confusion, because again, those that are going to be keeping Rosh, but not Rosh Hashanah, they're going to be keeping the Feast of Trumpets in the next few days. Some keeping it Sunday, some keeping it Monday, some keeping it Tuesday, because it's a debate as to when is the moon full. Is it full? No, tomorrow it's full. No, the next day it's full. You look outside, all 3 days it looks full. So that's why there's confusion among that group that does that. So again, just laying it out, those of us that do the crescent as the new moon, as the first day of the month, there is no multiple days that we do. We all do it the same time, because there's only one crescent that appears at the beginning of the month. Soon as you see it, at the going down of the sun, that's it. The day before, it wasn't there. But that day, this particular day, you'll see it. So there's no confusion among us, so therefore we know. And so that's what I wanted to share with you. So there are some that say that the first day of the month is at the full moon. And those within that group all battle, because they still trying to figure out what day is the first day of the month. And those of us that go by the crescent, September the 30th will be the Feast of Trumpets for us. That's why the confusion comes. So I hope that this video left some understanding as to why the confusion. I didn't get into what's right, what's what, other than what I do. And I can explain what I do and why I do what I do. I can explain that. What others do, they have to explain that. And they got to explain, even within that system, why so many of them have different dates. So that's something they have to explain. But again, I know when the month starts and what's the proper time to do it. So I just want to share that with you. And hopefully this video, share this video, because a lot of people are asking this question. I don't understand why some are doing it here, some are doing it there. So hopefully this video will be able to explain it. Peace. And as the Sabbath is ending here, we're going to go get some rest and go get something to eat. It says, do we send up offerings on the feast days? Scriptures tells us it's 3 times a year that we are not to appear before the Lord empty-handed. And it tells us, and it's the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of Weeks, which is Pentecost, and the Feast of Harvest and Gathering. Sister Sheila Clayton says, Shalom, Pastor. You took sharp in your suit, and thanks for the continuing to help us sort out the feast days confusion. I'm sticking to your teaching of it and making peace with it. Thanks. Well, you know, there's quite a few of us, different Hebrew groups that do it this way. Miss B says, good evening, family. Martha Hargrave Anderson says, peace to everybody. Hello, Sister Kelly. Okay, and we answered her question, do we send up offerings? So that's what we do. I hope every one of you all have had a wonderful Sabbath. We'll talk to you soon.